You've been filming, editing, and posting content for your small business or you're a content creator and nothing happens. Trust me, I've been there for 2 years and I just didn't know how to get out of the slump. It's very difficult to move forward when you see no reward and no growth while you're actively working on your products or your brand. Although I'm very fresh here on YouTube, I just hit 1,000 subscribers, which is crazy. I have built in the past year quite a following on Instagram and TikTok. It amounts to over 180K together. So I just wanted to let you know what changed. I started my candle brand back in 2022 and I posted content for 2 years with nothing happening. I was just stagnant at I think 900 to 1K followers on Instagram. And once I started to implement certain type of things, I started slowly but easy to see success. And this is not the story of somebody that blew up overnight. I can't take you from 0 to 100K in 3 months. I know there are tons of videos on YouTube that say that you can do that, but what I can do is I can share with you the strategies and what has worked for me for a candle brand, something that I do at home, and for a product that is handmade. But I do think that these ideas and everything that I've been through could be implemented if you're a creator, a small business. I hope that they just bring you a different type of insight when it comes to social media and posting. It's been very interesting as an owner of a small business to see how everything shifted, and it's so clear to me now how wrong I was at the beginning. Not necessarily wrong, I just didn't know what to do or how to tackle social media. It was just quite intimidating, especially when you see so many creator posting. Now, if you don't know me, my name is Georgiana. I own a candle store in Amsterdam and I specialize in making realistic candles. You can find me on TikTok, Instagram, and now on YouTube. I'm super happy that I finally hit 1K subscribers. This happened quite quickly for me. I mean, in 3 months, that is absolutely insane. So I just want to thank you all for watching and commenting and just being subscribed to this channel. It makes my heart like this. You hear a lot of noises. It's because I have a very old dog and he needs to stay non-stop with me and he moves a lot. There's nothing I can do. I can't kick him out. I don't want to kick him out, so you're gonna hear noises, just so you know. At the beginning when you start a brand, and especially when you start on Instagram, you wanted to make sure that everything is curated and pretty, because I think some people have this misconception that Instagram is the same like in 2019, that a feed needs to be super pretty. Nevertheless, I think we get our ideas of creators and brands for bigger brands, right? So we see these bigger brands like Rode or Rare Beauty or other type of brands, I don't know what you're into, and they look really polished. And I think we get this idea that we need to take ourselves so seriously at the beginning, and maybe even throughout our business journey, that our feed needs to look in a certain way, our videos need to look in a certain way. My first advice is to stop taking yourself so seriously. What I mean by that, I just want to pull up my Instagram really shortly because Instagram was the first platform that I started with. And back when I started it, it was at the beginning of 2022, I had this idea of Instagram of being super curated and that the feed needs to look perfect, Look at my Instagram feed, it looks very curated. I think it actually looks very pretty, and it does because I really spend a lot of time on photography and making sure that everything's like bright and in the style that I wanted. But the issue was that I was focusing so much on making sure that everything looks perfect that I wasn't really thinking about what I was posting. I was taking so much time out of my day just to make sure that every photo is perfect, so I would spend time on photo shoots. Then I would spend time on applications to put my photos to see how they look in the feed. Especially when you're doing everything alone, the photography, the product, the content creation, this could take a lot of time. The content looked really nice, so we can take a couple of looks on how it's showing. I can't put the music because I was using a lot of trendy sounds. I think that was my whole thing, and the majority of the thing was showing my products with trendy sounds. That's what I did. It was my main thing. And sometimes I would do some candle making videos, but it wasn't so much of a value. The videos weren't focused on the value, the videos were focused on how cute the shot looks and to make sure that everything is clean. So even though aesthetically they looked nice, there was no engagement because there was not really a value in what I was posting. When people cannot connect with the type of content that you're making, then there's gonna be a big disconnect. And I think this is a huge chunk of why a lot of people don't succeed on social media. And from this, I just want to transition into the second thing that is, I think, one of the most important things that it took me such a long time to realize. And that's that you need to create value for people. As I said, I was too concerned of creating a perfectly aesthetic thing that I didn't even think about the people that were looking at my videos. I was just like, oh, well, I hope it gets views. But why? What are you showing? What are you doing? How are you promoting your product? How is this product that you're making? How is it of use for people? Mind you, I knew that I was making the candles because I really enjoyed the process and I personally thought they were cool, but I don't really think I thought of the value of it. You know, it's like, okay, they're cool, so other people would think they're cool. What does value mean? It means that you're offering something to your audience that they can take away from you, right? I started posting videos about behind of the scenes of my candle making. I started posting humorous things. So people that are in the same industry look at this and they're like, oh, I can resonate with this person because they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. So then, because of that, they can follow. Or customers like my products because I sometimes showcase my products and behind of the scenes, and they follow me because they would like to purchase in the future. Now think about the people that you follow online. Let's say you move to a different city, right? You're from New York and you want to move to Amsterdam. And then you go online on Instagram and you start following creators from Amsterdam that speak English and that show around like how life is in Amsterdam. You're following them because this creator shows their life, but in a city that you will eventually live. So that creates value for you because you can take insights of what that person does in a city that you will move in. So when it comes to this, you need to find your own value themes. So I'm not really sure what you're into when you're watching this video, what type of content that you make, what type of product that you have, but you need to have at least 3 pillars, right? So for me, as I said, it's my brand story, it's behind the scene contents of my candle making, and it's also humorous style or like trends with candle making. Other niches, maybe you can make educational videos, I don't know, daily hacks, if you're like a gym bro, I don't know, gym transformation stuff. There's so many things that can create value for other people when they say it. So now I just wanted to take a look on my TikTok because I started TikTok in September 2023 because I really wanted to just be a bit free with my content. I feel like I was trying so much on Instagram to do everything super curated that I just needed a break. I just wanted to do whatever, you know, without taking myself seriously. And as of yet, when I started TikTok, I didn't know what value was or how to create value, but I want to go with you through my feed to show you the moment when I realized. And within this chapter that we're talking, I also want to make a little note about the idea of like you really need to have multiple social media platforms. Now, if you choose Instagram and TikTok, that's fine, TikTok or YouTube Shorts, you need to spread yourself on multiple platforms. And the reason why that is very important is because what works on one platform might not work on the other one. And like I did, I had some preconceptions idea of what I should be posting on Instagram, of what I thought Instagram was. So when I finally discovered TikTok, well, I was using TikTok already for a long time, but I never thought, what could I post about my business? Because I saw TikTok as a really funny, humorous, interesting platform. And I just didn't know that I could bring something like this with my brand. So at the beginning, I was actually recycling all of the posts that I posted on Instagram. And you can see that there's a bit more views now, but usually my videos would get around like, I don't know, 300 to like 500 views because the content was not really working on it because it was, again, the same type of content that I was posting on Instagram without any value. And I then started to do a lot of like trends.
I was in shock. It triggered like, whoa. It absolutely kind of humbled me and shocked me, scared me a little bit, disturbed me, didn't make me angry.
Like that's super cringy, you know, but I just liked it because I don't know, I just found it funny. And even if it didn't get a lot of views, it just introduced me into this thing of like letting a bit go of this persona that I built myself in my head that I'm so like above and my brand needs to be in a certain way.
Is it an addiction?
Is it an addiction? No, I don't think I think it's an addiction. I think it does put me, like, it makes me happy. But no, it's not an addiction.
So then I started easily to also show some behind of the scenes of how I make the candles, and I realized that that would work on TikTok. And when I say work, that means that instead of getting 500 views, it would get like 3,000 views. So I was like, oh, okay, that works. Maybe I should start posting more of these. So I started this series of like make candles with me, you know, and I started again seeing, whoa, I have 100 likes. I have 100 likes on it. So I knew that, oh, this is useful. People like this. So I wrote it down, I think. And then I continued with it. At this point on TikTok, I remember because I was also a user, you know, it sounds like I was a user, but I would also like scroll through TikTok. I really love TikTok. And because I was posting all these stuff, I was on small business TikTok. So I would get a lot of other creators with other small businesses. And I saw that a lot of creators were using sounds of other people. I want to wrap up this particular chapter that we talked about creating value, and go to the next thing that completely changed my account. And you at this point, probably I have like 1,000 followers on TikTok, something like this. But when I started implementing this, things changed for me drastically. And that is show yourself. Show yourself on camera. Now, some people are a bit shy and they don't want to do this, or maybe what they're doing doesn't need particularly for them to be shown on camera. But if you don't want to do that, then you need to somehow get in contact with people through a different way. And what you can do is to do voiceovers. Now, voiceovers for me were scary. Like, I could show myself on camera, and I think I did it at the beginning quite a lot, not speaking, but for me, voiceover, absolutely not. I didn't want my voice there. I just hated my voice. I just couldn't do that. So I had to find a different way to connect with people and share my brand story, share what I was feeling with other people. So what I decided to do was to use other audios with people that talk about small businesses and small business struggles, and put my videos on top of them. So it's still like a story about small businesses, but it just doesn't come from my mouth. That's when my videos started to go from like 500 views to 7K, 10K, 15K. And I remember one time one of my videos that I'm gonna show you now hit like 25K, and I just couldn't believe it. I don't know if I can show the actual video. I mean, I can show the video without the sound, but it's basically about building a business and how difficult it is to build a business, because you constantly need to be open to failing, to getting things wrong and this and that. And I just showed my videos on top of it. And now you can also see I liked it. Oh, so sweet. That's so sweet. But now it has 30K likes. So it has 500,000 views, but I remember back then it had like 25K, you know? So then I realized, oh, so if I use other sounds, obviously I have the permission, because that's how TikTok works, you know? If you wouldn't like somebody to use your sound, you just don't put it there out there for usage. And it was quite popular in 2023 to use these type of sounds. And then I started to alternate from videos showing me making the candles and me showing the other part of businesses. So I really was searching a lot in my niche, which was small businesses. So I started to create value by sharing my story, even though I wasn't ready to show myself on camera or do voiceovers by doing that. Another thing that I started to do was to post consistently, and I would not go a week on TikTok without posting at least 3 times. Now, when I started to focus on TikTok, I completely abandoned Instagram because I just didn't understand how to use it. But we're gonna get back into that as well. I just wanted to show you the moment when, for me, changed everything. And I realized that I had to start having the courage to put my voice out there and actually even speak like this, because I was terribly shy. I did what I always do. I used a sound, and it was a sound where they were discussing about, it was quite a personal sound, right? But it was available to use, and it was about this person that just worked on a new collection, and she was not getting any visibility. Nobody would buy it. You know, you invested all this money and everything. And it was insane for me to see this video, because I was going through the exact same thing. And that was exactly last year on the 25th of June, 2024. So mind you, until now, I think my following was around like 15,000 followers, just by posting this type of behind of the scenes and voiceovers of other people and my videos on top. But when I saw this video, I said, oh my God, I really need to use this sound because it's exactly how I feel. I just posted a new collection. Nobody really cares about it. I'm not getting, orders. And this was happening already for like quite a long time. And like, it was like 2.5 years of like working on this brand and nothing was happening. So I decided to take the audio, show my story, and it blew up. Again, this was the video. I can't really show the video because it has also sound that is copyrighted, but it's really, you can see also the text was very important to put on top, and it shows my products, it shows the new products, everything that I've actually worked on. The sound was perfect because it was exactly what I was feeling. The only problem was that was not my voice. I've never had a video go viral. This video got 500,000 views in 2 days, and then probably 700K in, I don't know, a week. And I started to panic a bit because I also started to see comments of people saying that I'm a scammer, that I use the voice of somebody else and that my business is actually not failing. But obviously deep down I knew that that's not the case, that I'm actually going through the same thing. But that moment made me realize that I need to have my own voice. I need to talk, to connect with people so they know who I am, because I've had this expectation from people to buy my products, to be there to support me, but I didn't even have the courage to be there for them or speak about this. This was the moment when I started to do voiceovers. And it worked because one of the next videos that I made was me talking about my chaotic wholesale story, a story that, happened to me, and people resonated to it. 100K views, 9,000 likes, and then it was over from there. I realized that I can share stories so people can connect with me. I realized that I can have fun and make some silly videos, like with type of challenges, or not necessarily challenges, but like just funny audios that would work in my candle making thing. And I also realized that I can show behind of the scenes, something that I really enjoy filming, and also something that you guys enjoyed. So it was from then on, from last year until this year, that's what I've been doing. I am really, really happy that I did that. Meanwhile, Instagram was again still at 1K followers. So I was like, I'm not touching that. I don't want to do silly aesthetic videos because I really thought that's what I need to do. I really wanted to let go of this stupid idea that I had regarding Instagram. And because I started to get so comfortable with TikTok making these videos, I started to post behind of the scenes on Instagram. It started to get momentum. Nothing crazy. I think I went from like 1,000 followers to like 7,000 to 10,000. But for me, that was like insane. I couldn't believe it that I broke the curse. But then something happened in October. So just a couple of months later, I made a video. And this was my first crazy viral video. Now, I can't share it with you because it has like a copyrighted sound, but I'm just gonna put a different sound on top. But this was the video. Now, this video going viral, it was so ridiculous because I was in Romania. I was going to the wedding of my friend, and I have all my notification out for Instagram and TikTok. I don't have notification at all. So I started to seem like something is going up because I'm not usually with my phone much, and I kept just getting Shopify orders. Like I got like 15 orders in 10 minutes, and I was like, what is going on? The story behind this video was the fact that somebody at my previous work made fun of me, sort of, regarding my candle business. So they didn't make fun of me, but it was just a backhanded, I feel like it was a backhanded question of like, how's your little candle business going? A bit like what we do here in tech and in the corporations is so much important, so more important than what you're doing at home with your little hobby. This is how I took it, and this is how, my frustration, I just wanted to make a video about it, So I was able to share my feelings, and it paid off. I didn't think for a second that I should post this on Instagram because it got a lot of views on TikTok, but I think 1 month after or something like this, I was like, oh, maybe it will do good on Instagram, so why not? Let me just post it. And what do you know? It blew up on Instagram as well. And that's when I went from like 7 to 10K to 35K. And that was in a day. So I was used to this gradual build up on TikTok, but what happened on Instagram for me was just absolutely insanity, and it happened 1 month after. So I just finished a wave of orders and then it came another one. So I was just so grateful, and this is over one video and one decision. If I didn't make the decision to post it on a different social platform, it wouldn't have blew up and my following would stay the same. That's why it's very important to post on multiple type of platforms. I've been talking about this a lot because I just wanted to show you a bit my journey and how it happened with me, because I really find it interesting. Just now, after a year, had the time to sit down and reflect and see how it all went down. Because I was doing researching for this video, I'm also like thinking, I'm like, wow, it's so insane because I didn't realize it in the moment. Can you please relax? To wrap everything up, build trust with your community, share your story, give something back. You know, stop expecting people to give you something and you don't give anything back in return. Next thing that I want to say is that you don't need to get intimidated by tech. Guys, come on, it's not that difficult. The only thing that you need is your phone, yeah? Just a phone. Don't think about buying like any expensive cameras or something like this. Just make sure that you have a good phone. And when it comes to editing applications, you can edit within TikTok Studio or actually within Instagram. I stated this before, it's very easy to find a YouTube tutorial or to follow creators that you like and see their editing style and maybe try to get some points from them on how they edit. I can also make a full video on how I edit my videos. It is true that I really always liked to edit videos, so for me it was kind of easy when it came to this, but it was also building gradually because every week I would edit videos and I would find new type of styles to edit. Practicing also makes perfect, but you really need to have that consistency of doing it. If you would ask me, Georgiana, should I invest in a good camera or should I invest in a microphone? I would definitely say invest in a good microphone, because sharing your story is definitely more important than a video being 4K. And the last thing that I want to talk about is consistency over perfection. Now that you have everything figured out content-wise and you know how to create value for the people that follow you, it's very important to be consistent with yourself. Nobody wants to follow an account that posts once a month, you know, because people do like consistency as well, especially if you want to build a community. Now, of course, you can have moments when you're just tired and you don't want to do it. I get it. I think if your goal is to build a community and for your products or your creations to be shown, you need to put in some effort. It's a slippery slope because you also don't want to be that person that posts like 5 times a day. I personally think that that's way too much, but I did hear that some accounts, yeah, it worked for them, you know, because you need to understand that people constantly see your things. You're constantly opening yourself to be viewed by other people than your followers. So even if you have a day where you're not very consistent, you can always maybe reshare a video that you did in the past and did well. Don't do this a lot, but you can do this once a month, you know, on a day that, you know, you didn't have time to film the content, don't have energy, you know, that can save you. My advice would be to focus on value rather than volume, but again, this is really depending on your niche. Don't get too much in your head about it. I hope that these tips are going to help you and you're going to see things maybe in a different perspective. It's so crazy to think that now I'm in the middle of June 2025 and last year I was just starting to build this platform and how much it grew, and the fact that I didn't blow up overnight, it grew consistently, you know. So I kind of gained on TikTok 100,000 followers, even more in a short period of a year, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And also on Instagram, 65,000 people when I was stuck at 1,000 people for like 2.5 years. So it's very interesting how everything tied up together. I hope this video brings you comfort. I hope that it brings you knowledge. I hope that it brings you motivation to implement these things within your personal journey, your small business, or whatever you're doing as a creator. I can't wait to see where I'm gonna be 1 year from now, if my followers are gonna double, if I'm gonna stay the same, what content strategies probably I have for next year, because in a year you can learn so much. But thank you again for watching. If you want to see more videos regarding candle making or about small businesses, you can subscribe here. Thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. That's crazy. Like I never thought in my wildest dreams that I would be able to reach that point. So yeah, Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Ciao!